Damien, you're right.
Can I be deputy to the deputy mayor?
Acting Deputy Mayor.
Do you want, we can move it over.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. At this time, I'd like to give the opening to Councillor Jake Siemens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With the exception of last year, Steinbach has had an annual pick-up and walk event each year beginning in 2005. It has been an interesting event to watch grow in Steinbach, as each of us know and have likely participated in. Anywhere from 800 to 2,000 people over the years have gathered on a sunny Saturday morning in May to collect up to 8 tons of garbage from our roadways, ditches, pathways, and empty lots. The Pick-up and Walk event started back in 2004 when a care group at the Emmanuel Free Church felt the challenge to do something for the community. The challenge was a direct result of reading, then reacting to a book called A Purpose-Driven Life by author Rick Warren. The author challenges the readers to review and respond to events over the 60 days that it takes to read the book. At different places in the book, the challenge has been to do good things for yourself, for your care group, for your church, for your community, and so on. It was doing something for your community challenge that the care group came up with the idea to pick garbage in and around the church on Mackenzie Boulevard. It made sense. Call upon the care group families and friends to work together with a common goal to pick up garbage in and around the church. I think that first year started, it was cleaning the windows as well, all as part of the spring cleaning. It would be something they could do for themselves, for the church, for the neighborhood, and certainly have a positive effect on our community. The first year they invited people from their care group to meet on Saturday, and they did. They picked the garbage around the church surrounding area, but they were joined by other people. So the word got out within the church and with others. So they went the next weekend again and invited all the care groups in the church to respond. And that larger group was much bigger than anticipated. And as the church got involved, on the second Saturday, they cleaned up over half of the roadside ditches and pathways in Steinbach. The Carolyn then picked up the story and reported on the success of the event. The second year, in 2005, they decided to challenge the Steinbach Ministerial to get involved, thus that challenging other churches, so the whole city could be covered in a cleanup campaign. The Southland Church began to take a leadership role in organizing the event, plus the city of Steinbach got involved to help with the meeting place, which was at T.G. Smith Arena, and the garbage drop-off points. Then to top it off, business saw to it that the people got fed. After all, they did pick garbage for up to 3 hours as a family. By year 4, the event attracted well over 1,100 people, representing 15 congregations in Steinbach. That year, over 7.1 tons of garbage was collected in just 3 hours. That was also the first year I volunteered for the event, using my grandchildren as much labor as I could. The first impression upon arriving in the arena was all the different varieties of pick sticks that showed up. Hockey sticks cut to length, broom handles cut to length, and everything else in between, then with the long drywall screws or nails inserted in one end to poke and to pick up the garbage. Some showed up with handy pickers so they didn't have to bend down so far. All came dressed in Saturday get dirty clothes, rubber boots, and gloves. I was impressed on how organized the event was, from registration to the map. Everyone received, well, with good information. The map told us where to go pick up the garbage and what group you belong to, what to wear, and they even had safety tips, and some years they even handed out t-shirts so you were bright and everybody could see you. Then the leader gave each of us 3 garbage bags and off we went to clean. Everywhere one drove, it was families, including young and old, working together to clean our city. It gave me a huge sense of pride that this is what Steinbach has. I also know that at FCM conferences over the years, that has been an item that has been discussed at the roundtables there. I can guarantee you that each of those 800 to 2,000 participants each year do not throw garbage out of their vehicle anytime. The end result was that this has grown into a successful community event. City Council puts very few dollars in. City staff participate but don't run the event, and it grows community pride to all who participated. It is a true community event. Then in 2020, COVID arrived and the event was postponed. Well, I haven't heard yet, but it is likely it will not be held this year either. Due to COVID, though, many more people are using our pathways to get out of their homes and walk in our communities, and this has been evident if anybody spends any time walking our pathways. It's fairly busy with the amount of people out there. I would say that our pathways and ditches are dirty, but not as much garbage has piled up as there has been in the past, because there are people who do pick up garbage as they walk on any day, regardless of the time of year. The legacy of the pick up and walk event has stayed with us as we pride ourselves on how clean Steinbach is. So the challenge to each of us is that, including myself, is that when we walk in our neighborhood and community, take a plastic bag along and pick up the garbage on your walk through the community. After all, walking has many benefits. Getting fresh air, it's good exercise, gets the heart rate up, you meet your neighbors, you use our pathways, you see a different side of our community, and the list goes on. But one can add to the walking exercise by simply bending over and picking up the garbage you see, because bending over builds core on your body, so it is another form of exercise. Of course, the worst case is that the City of Steinbach collection crew will have to empty the garbage cans along the walkways more than the once a week that they currently do. While the event might not be happening this year, Steinbach still remains one of the cleanest cities that I know. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Siemens, and I will accept your challenge. As we walk our dog, I will do exactly that, take a bag along and pick up garbage. So I accept your challenge. Council, we have the agenda in front of us. I'm looking for a motion to adopt. Councillor Penner, second by Councillor Hebert. Any comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. We have the minutes of April 6th, 2021, the regular council meeting. Council looking for a motion to approve. We've all had an opportunity to look them over. Councillor Hebert, second by Councillor Penner. Any comments? Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Okay, seeing none. Council, we are missing one councillor. That's he's always here. He never misses. Probably one of the few that has perfect attendance. But Councillor Michael Schweitzer is not feeling well today, so I'm looking for a motion to excuse. Councillor Penner, second by Councillor Siemens. Thank you. That was a long, awkward silence. Any comments?
No comments.
Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Council, we are just a little after 7:35, so we'll go directly into the public hearing. This is variance V 2021-07. It's referring to 511 Cottonwood Bend. At this time, we will close the council meeting, open the public hearing, and turn over to Mr. Warkentine to introduce this file.
Mr. Mayor and members of council, this application for variance, file V-2021-07, has been requested by Ivan and Minna Hebert, who are also the owners of the property. Purpose of the variance application is to allow a total of 888 square feet of accessory use on the site, whereas the maximum amount of accessory use permitted in the RLD residential low density zone is 700 square feet. Notices as required under the Planning Act have been issued. There is no correspondence on file. The general review by administration indicated no concerns. Recommendation from administration is that City Council approve the variance application.
Thank you, Mr. Warkentine. I see the applicant is here. Do you wish to speak? Yes. Okay, just again for the record, everything's taped, so to say your name and your address and then go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ivan Hebert. I live at 511 Cottonwood Bend. My wife and I just moved to Steinbach in November. We found a very nice place here. We are here now to raise my 3 grandchildren, which I have been fostering for the last 2 years. And our plans are to build a playhouse for the kids to play in, a garden shed for the garden stuff, and a garage for me to tinker in. That is the purpose of this expansion, and I hope I get it to go through because the kids need a lot of room to run around in.
Thank you. Is there any questions for the applicant, council? Okay. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Are you, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Hebert, have you talked to your neighbors at all?
I talked to the one on my north side, and I informed him that I wish to build a garage there, and he says, go right ahead. I said, I might have to cut down some branches. He says, anything on my side of the line, I'm free to cut the branches down. So we have a good rapport already. I've been visiting with him off and on outside. And then the one's across from me, she's a nice lady, but I haven't seen her too much. And the ones behind me, I haven't met yet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you can take, Councillor Hebert's got a question for you.
My hat goes off, through you, Mr. Mayor. My hat goes off to you for fostering your grandchildren.
Thank you.
You've taken on an awesome task there, and I noticed that you also want to do a playroom or something for the children back there.
Yes, a playhouse.
Just a simple question. It doesn't have much to do with the variance, but I'm just wondering, instead of having 3 sheds back there, why you wouldn't consider just building 1 shed?
Well, one shed is already there,
I realize that.
and then the other one I have at a previous house, which is a smaller shed just for the garden tools and such. This way, the one shed is just going to be all for their toys, and come winter time, and lock the bikes up there, all the toys into the one shed. Other shed, I want to keep my lawnmowers, snow blowers, and all the garden stuff in it. We plan on next spring making a garden in the backyard. And my garage, I want to keep for, I have an antique truck that I'm working on, plus a motorcycle and my work vehicle that I drive around in.
No, I mean, I was just looking at aesthetic value. Is it more pleasant to look at 1 building than 3 buildings? But thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Is there no further questions of council? Okay. Is there anyone here with questions, comments, or objections to this file? Okay, I'll ask one more time. Is there anyone here with comments, questions, or objections to this file? Okay, seeing none, we will at this time close the public hearing, open the council meeting. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Penner?
Motion to approve?
Do we have second by Councillor Hebert? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a request for a variance that is not incredibly exceptional, especially taking into consideration the size of the lot. We have maximum sizes that are allowed on lots due to the fact that they can go through the permitting processes without having to go for a variance. So when there's a lot that is not one of the minimum sizes, it only makes sense to move up the square footage of a secondary building that is allowed on the property. I did have note that our engineer did make a recommendation while providing a lot grading plan, but judging by the applicant's conversations that he did have with the neighbor already, I feel like they are quite friendly, and that wouldn't be necessary in this instance. So if anything does come up in the future, that they would make sure that gets resolved between the two of them.
Anything further, Councillor Hebert?
I would concur with Councillor Penner, and the size of the lot is a big deal, I think, and I think it would be quite appealing as far as that goes. So no further remarks.
Okay. Anything further of council? Anything in closing?
Nothing further.
Well, council, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, council, we have no delegation at this point. Council, I'd like to just move down to 9B. I'd like to take care of 9B before we take care of 9A. So that is the bylaw 2168, local improvement 2021-03, the Clearspring Greens Pathway. That's the third reading on that. So that starts on page 24. Mr. Warkentine, would you like to introduce that file for us, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The bylaw 2168 and local improvement plan 2021-03 represents the Clearspring Greens Pathway construction local improvement bylaw and plan. This bylaw was given first and second reading earlier this year. After the city's public hearing was completed, there were further objections, and as a result, this file was forwarded to the Manitoba Municipal Board for further consideration. Despite the further objections, the Manitoba Municipal Board has advised the city by letter dated April 6, 2021, that the application for this under this bylaw has been approved. And as a result, City Council may now give this bylaw and local improvement plan third reading so that the project may proceed in the 2021 capital program. So recommendation is for Council to give third reading to this bylaw.
Thank you, Mr. Warkentine. Okay, Council, so we're looking for a motion to approve third reading. Councillor Siemens, second by Councillor Hebert. Go ahead, Councillor Siemens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an important project for the city. This is a pathway construction to Clearspring Greens. It is from along Park Road East, along the side of the golf course, and it would go from Carlton Drive to the Aquatic Center, as well from Rand's Gate to Fairway Close, which would be another piece of it. This is something that the city has worked on diligently for a long time, and I think now that we have municipal board approval, I would recommend that we move ahead. It will be paid for partially by borrowing debt of $233,000 to pay for the construction of the pathway.
Thank you. Anything further, Councillor Hebert?
Mr. Mayor, yes, I'm looking forward to this project proceeding. It's been a long time as when we campaigned and stuff. I think most of us campaigned on that project, and just to see it going forward, and for no other reason, maybe just for the safety of the children in that area. I mean, that's been, I think, on the minds of a lot of us over the last 2 years, and so for that reason, I'm excited to see this go ahead.
Thank you. Anything further of Council? Councillor Hebert.
I've heard from several of the people living in that area, and they're pretty excited about it. So yes, I'm looking forward to seeing this thing get built and be done.
Okay. Anything further? Anything in closing?
If this is approved, Mr. Mayor, this it would be critical, or it would be important for me that it happens. Construction happens this year, as we have it in our capital works program as well. So then hopefully it can happen this construction season.
Thank you. Yes, Council, I agree with the comments that this is a very important project. And I agree with Councillor Hebert. It's about safety. It's about safety for the residents, but it also now links the residents in this neighborhood with the regional pathway that we have going through our parks. And it's gonna link them to other neighborhoods. And it's a safe way to get to other neighborhoods. And I really like the fact that we're working on this. It was something that was campaigned on, and it was a real need that we saw during the campaign, and it ran into some still waters, but it was brought back up, and we came to a decision that's going to really work for this area. And kudos to you guys. I'm really proud of you as a council that you guys came up with this, and I know that Councillor Penner had taken the lead on this. Thank you, Susan, for the work you've done on this and talking with the neighborhood and not letting this die. Keep working on it, and it just It really shows just a lot of integrity in the way that this was done. So call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, council, now we'll move to 8A. This is the reports and recommendations by city manager. It's the tender award for the Clearspring Greens Pathway and the entire capital works program. It starts on page 17 of your package. Mr. Workstein, would you please introduce this file?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is consideration for a tender, and it is for the city's 2021 Capital Works Program, which includes the asphalt overlay projects anticipated for the year, as well as the proposed pathway for the Clearspring Greens neighborhood. The tender closed on March 9th, 2021, with 4 bids received. The recommendation by the project engineer, which is AECOM Canada Ltd., is to award the tender to the low bid, being Maple Leaf Construction Limited, for an amount of $1,398,366 plus applicable taxes. And the recommendation from administration is for council to approve that tender award.
Thank you, Mr. Workstein. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Siemens?
Motion to approve?
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hebert? Go ahead, Councillor.
A question for administration through you, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Workstein, what was the budgeted amount?
Total for all projects under this tender was $3.1 million.
Thank you. This, this is to approve the Capital Works Program. That is critical every year to what we do as a city. This is part of our asphalt overlay program. The asphalt overlay program has been something that we've done for many years. It was delayed at one point about 10 years ago for a number of years, but we went back to it about 8 years ago, and it has kept our streets in better shape. So part of this is the whole asphalt overlay project that we do each year. And also included now is the Clearspring Greens Pathway project, which is budgeted around $650,000. This dollar figure also comes in under our budget, under the budgeted funding amount, and it will be to Maple Leaf is a request at $1.398 million. And we've worked with Maple Leaf many times in the past, and I think it is good to reward it. They also came in as low tender.
Anything further, Councillor Hebert?
No further comment.
Anything further of council? Anything in closing?
I stumbled enough.
Okay. Well, Councillor Siemens, I think you've said it for all of us. So I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, council, we'll go to 9A. That's accounts payable. It's in the back of the book. We've all had an opportunity to review. Looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Hebert. Second by Councillor Penner. Any comments?
This is again just the city paying their bills for the month, so it looks good.
Anything further of council? Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. 9C, this is bylaw 2169. This is the tax sale manager. This is a third reading. Council, this has already come to us. Mr. Workstein, would you just introduce this file, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Bylaw 2169 is a bylaw to create the position of tax sale manager. This bylaw is required in order for the city to proceed with its anticipated tax sale process for this year, and it will permit the appointed tax sale manager to deal with all required correspondence and discussions with the appropriate agencies with respect to the tax sale. Recommendation is to give this bylaw a third reading.
Thank you, Mr. Workstein. Do we have a motion for third reading? Councillor Penner, second by Councillor Penner. Go ahead, Councillor Penner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is something that needs to happen to set up our administration with the tools that they are required and mandated to have in order to proceed with the tax sale. So I'm comfortable moving through third reading on this.
Thank you. Anything further, Councillor Penner?
Nothing further.
Anything further of council? Anything in closing?
Nothing further.
Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. 9E, this is bylaw 2161, local improvement 2021-2. This is Acres Drive, second reading. Mr. Workning, could you please introduce this file?
Mr. Mayor, this bylaw 2161, local improvement bylaw for Acres Drive street construction, also related to that is local improvement plan 2021-02. This was a bylaw for which City Council held the public hearing several months ago, and there was one objection filed to the proposed plan. At that time, Council gave this bylaw first reading, and at this point, it is being presented to City Council for consideration for second reading. The overall project proposes to develop a concrete surfaced roadway from the existing intersection of Industrial Road and Acres Drive for that roadway to extend west to create an intersection with Keating Road. As far as this project, total borrowing that is anticipated under the project is $3.1 million. Recommendation is for City Council to give this bylaw second reading, at which time it will be forwarded to the Manitoba Municipal Board for consideration and future approval.
Thank you, Mr. Worthington. Okay, Council, looking for a motion for second reading. Councillor Penner, by Councillor Penner. Go ahead, Councillor Penner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an exciting project. Business is booming in Steinbach, and we need more lots. Our lot inventory is low, and I know there's interest by business owners already on lots that are going to be developed by this, the paving of Acres Drive. So I think this is a great project for our community, and I hope to see it come to fruition.
Anything further?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The best way that government can create jobs is not by actually creating jobs, but creating an environment for private entities to create the jobs. And this is what we're doing. We're creating that environment by extending Acres Drive and allowing businesses to have the opportunity to have access to land and create the jobs for our citizens. So this is a good thing to be moving forward on at this time.
Thank you. Anything further of council? Anything in closing?
Nothing in closing.
Council, I do agree with the comments. The comments that were said were just spot on today, because it is our job to create an environment for businesses to grow. Businesses want to come to Steinbach. We've been seeing that. And if we're running low on inventory on industrial lots, we then need to create more. And this is the way we're going to create more. This is a very important project, and we need to go to the next step on this. So call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, Council, we need to go back to 9D. I totally forgot to do the resolution to appoint a tax sale manager. There's a resolution on page 40. So Council, just looking for a motion to approve the resolution that is on page 40.
Excuse me, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor?
Yeah.
If I may, just one slight addition to that resolution. I would like to add one line to the end in that the appointment of the tax sale manager be applicable for the tax sale process to be initiated in 2021.
There, and it's about safety, so I would say we approve that.
Anything further?
Nothing further.
Anything further of council? Anything in closing?
Nothing.
Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. 9H, also another Manitoba Hydro. This is a Prairie Crescent street lighting. This is only for 4 lights, but we still need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second by Councillor Hebert? Go ahead, Councillor Penner.
Nothing further.
Anything, okay. Well, council, all these street lightings is showing us that we are growing quickly, we're moving forward, and these are brand new developments that are needing lighting. So this is really good that we get to approve this lighting. Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. 9I. Oh, look at this. Manitoba Hydro. PTH 12 South Brandt Street, street lighting.
Approve.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Second that? Okay. Motion moved by Councillor Siemens, second by Councillor Hebert. Any comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I think these lights were due, I think people were looking for these lights 10, 12 years ago when they four-laned to the Madison Road intersection. It has always been dark. This is where cars make a left-hand turn onto Madison. I think it's critical that these lights go in. I think it's about time that we had this request that they do go in.
Anything further?
No further comment.
Anything further of council? Anything in closing?
No, sir.
Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Council, are there any questions of council? Okay. We'll move on to the correspondence and petition. We've got the Minister, 11A, Minister of Municipal Relations, municipal fiscal year funding for 2020, 2021 and 2022. So here's the letter. Council, would you like to take that as information at this time? Okay. And we got 11B, a letter from Gilbert Goret from Cullington Park 2. Council, how would you like to proceed? Take it as information?
Please.
Okay. We have no other business. Looking for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Penner, second by Councillor Penner. Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. The next regular council meeting is Tuesday, May 4th, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. Thank you.